Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It is currently your favorite day of the week because the Hot Seat with Priscilla is live in studio here at Social Media Shows. Every single week we bring you the best of the best and introducing you to amazing people of this city and beyond that are willing to sit in the hot seat and not get burned, but tell us the journey in which they have lived and why they do what they do. We never discriminate on what they do. I love meeting people outside of the entertainment community because we also meet entrepreneurs, business owners, politicians, alongside all of your favorites, which are the people in the entertainment, performers, dancers, actors, producers, singers, artists, and so forth. Every week I try to bring you something new and refreshing just to introduce what talent we have here in the Las Vegas Valley. Las Vegas is up and coming. There is so much going on when it comes to film and events. Everything is going on to make this city the city that it needs to be and put us on the map for more than just what everyone assumes it could be, which is partying. But even though we're not going to stray away, I'm not going to give too many hints yet about the guests that are going to be on here, but we have some amazing guests, high quality, great stories, traveled the world, people that are pure artists, and I cannot wait to introduce you to them. So make sure, as always, grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and stay tuned because after the break, I'm going to introduce you to our first guest, and you will want to stay to make sure you hear all about him and what he is doing here. So we'll be right back after the break.
This show is brought to you by Modern Word Ministries. This show is brought to you by Deborah Richards. Move Me No Mountains, now available at Amazon Prime.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social Media Shows is now the new media of the century.
Welcome back. I hope you have your drinks and your snacks ready because we are in for a great show. Our first guest is award-winning composer. He's done so many things. His music transcends so much. I'm pretty sure if he will start telling you what his vibe is, you're going to recognize any of it. And he also is a producer of his own podcast where he talks about movies, etc. Definitely someone who's used to the spotlight and not going to be too scared of all the cameras and the viewers like you that are watching. So everyone, please welcome David Rosen. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Please take a seat. I love that you have your own personalized shirt.
Yes.
I just recognized this.
My latest album.
Yeah. There you go. You don't even have to ask. We don't have to ask where to find you because it's on the shirt, guys.
That's
Just
right.
pause it, screenshot, zoom in. There it is. So let's know about you. Where are you from originally? Let's start there.
Well, I was born in New York, but I did grow up in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
I've been
East
here.
Coaster.
Yeah, I've been here in Las Vegas since 1998.
Okay.
And I mean, at that point, like I'm a Vegas guy at this point.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, but I love knowing people's roots because that tells me a lot about them regardless if they've been here for a while. Obviously, they're a little seasoned, and that kind of goes along with music.
Sure.
A lot of people in New York, right? New York is notorious for music, theater, right? All of the above. So tell me to start. What really did it for you when it came to composing in general?
Well, I went through like a lot of different phases because I got into music to make industrial music, like electronica and like alternative industrial electronic stuff like that. And I couldn't do it at first. Like it just wasn't in my wheelhouse. It wasn't something I was actually able to create. And I kind of went through these different phases along the way. I started producing rappers here in Las Vegas. I did a comedy project for a while that I also produced the music for. And I eventually started working my way into doing music for films because along the way I started realizing that, like, as somebody who wants to kind of just hole up in my little home studio and make music, like not not be a guy in a band, you know. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make music. Like film really is kind of the place for me, whether it's film or TV or commercials, doing jingles, things like that.
Yeah.
So I started working my way into film, and that's when my music started evolving and getting to my latest album, more content, making the music that I kind of set out to make in the first place.
Yeah, and that's amazing because you hear a lot of people who produce their own music, but they also perform it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't meet a lot of people who are purely for producing
Yeah.
and composing alongside, and then also dabbling in a lot of different areas. Because
Yeah.
everyone has their niche.
Yes.
They stick to it. Then they get stuck, they go somewhere, they get inspired.
Yeah.
Right? So what really inspires you when you found your niche, which you like, I'm assuming is film, what really, does it come out of nowhere? Do you sometimes jot it down when you're out and about?
Yeah.
What is it?
It depends on the project, really. My main thing is kind of taking all of my influences and making a big jumble of it all. Like, I like to get influences, like I said, industrial music, also alternative music. My favorite band is The Cure. They're a big influence on me. A lot of that kind of like, new wave and stuff from the 80s and things like that. Straight up into rock music and film scores, of course. And so, like, really all different kinds of areas of music, and then putting it together and making something that hopefully sounds original, that sounds unique, that people connect with. But my number one priority always when I'm making music is that I like it. And so that's like always number one. Like I make this music to listen to. I love listening to it. And it sounds weird saying out loud sometimes, but I genuinely do. Like when I'm driving around, I'm half the time at least listening to my own music.
Yeah, and that's the best thing is you want to be happy with it. And for an artist, it's hard because we're never satisfied sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you're satisfied, at least you have that where you don't need validation from the outside world. Whether even if it's a job and they're saying, okay, well, I would have done it this way. You're like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I can press play and I'm going to chill, right?
Yes.
I'm in my zone. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm not putting it out unless I'm happy. Like, I have so much unreleased music that, like, I might eventually finish it. It might make its way out into the world. But if not, just go in the trash because I don't need to release music.
Yeah.
You know, if it's good, I'm going to put it out.
Is there a genre of film that you feel pulled towards more?
I like weird stuff, like dark weird stuff. Any kind of movie that's very open to interpretation is my kind of movie, you know. But as far as like the broad genres, I mean dramas for the most part, but like I like definitely a little bit of all genres.
Yeah, because when I listen to music, it kind of has more of a dark feel.
Yeah.
It leaves kind of a mystery to
Yes.
it. And I kind of get, I always say this, when you hear, we watch a lot of period or sci-fi fantasy, it's like this battle music, right? It's like this, like, giant, like you're waiting, it's leading you up to this big moment, and it's really dramatic. And I feel like that can work for you, like very Avatar, very Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
It's giving a lot of that, which is great because music for films is very important.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize, like there's a lot of films like Independence where they don't put music in there, and then you're kind of like, something's missing.
Right.
It adds to the story.
Yeah, and it's important to know when the film needs music, because sometimes no music is the right choice. It just depends on the film. But I do tend to take on a lot more like horror and mystery and thriller kind of gigs. It's just kind of where I've gravitated towards. But I like working in all different kinds of styles and all that. But definitely the darker stuff is kind of my home base.
Are there certain composers or music producers that really kind of have an influence on you?
Yeah, as far as like actual film music composers, I love Clint Mansell is one of my favorites. Thomas Newman is amazing. Of course, everyone loves Hans Zimmer, but I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't love Hans Zimmer too, you know. All of these people, but I like people who don't sound anything like me too. Alexander Desplat is one of my favorites, and his stuff is cheery and bright, and I couldn't do that if I tried. So, you know.
Yeah. Would you ever do a musical?
I would certainly try. I would give it a shot, and you know, especially if it was a darker musical, like a Sweeney Todd or something. You
or
know?
even Phantom of the Opera, right?
Sure.
You're giving it has a little bit of rock in there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
That would help. Yeah.
Yes. So moving from music now, tell me when you started producing podcasts, because your podcast in particular also goes alongside with film, so it stays in the same niche.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing Piecing It Together, which is my podcast that I produce and host for 5 years now. And Piecing It Together is a podcast where we take a look at a movie through the lens of what other movies might have inspired it. So talking about inspirations, each episode, my guests and we talk about the movie and come up with a list of what we call puzzle pieces, which are other movies we think were an influence in some way on the featured film. And it's just a fun, different way of talking about a movie rather than just saying good, bad, whatever. We get to make these different tangents and connections and whatnot. And so it's just a fun, different way to talk about a movie. And I've been doing it for 5 years now. Before that, I was also co-hosting another podcast called Bird Road that was more of like a politics thing. And I also produced a restaurant podcast. I also produce currently another movie podcast called Awesome Movie Year, which is another take on the movie podcast format. But we've been doing that one for almost 4 years now.
Wow, so you are equipped in all areas, I love that, though. You have a lot to say, and that's great for a podcast,
Easy.
Right? And and I'm pretty sure, seeing all the different areas you're in, you're not afraid to voice your opinion.
Sure.
In those things. You're a career artist, and that's great. So when you do a lot of films, do you also kind of critique the film in its entirety, apart from just the relation to other things, references, and things like that?
Yeah, you have to, and I prefer to talk about movies that I like, but it can't always be that way, you know. So yeah, if a movie isn't good, you gotta say, you can't just tiptoe around it, and it happens. I recently criticized a movie that I found out later on that a friend of mine worked on, and I was like,
oh no,
but,
sorry, man. No, not personal, not personal.
Yeah,
so do you primarily do a lot of independents, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely. A lot of independent films. I personally I've worked on all different kinds of things and had music on television and all kinds of stuff. And then on the podcast, just anything goes.
Yeah, as it should. That's what podcasts really are made for. Anything goes. You don't want to listen, and it's a warning, disclaimer, right?
We can't just cover Marvel movies.
Yeah, I know. And then plus, you're in a field, everyone's covering Marvel movie. Everyone has a reaction video out on YouTube,
Absolutely.
So when it comes to your past work, is there a time when it really was just a light bulb went off? A certain job that will forever be close to your heart, really? That was the moment.
It's such a difficult question because of the different things that I do, I'm still really, really proud of the fact that on my third album, Head Like Fire, we put out a music video called Constellations that was actually a 360 virtual reality music video, and that one got picked up by Google as a thing to promote their Google Cardboard and their entire initiative for VR and all that. And so that got seen by so many more people than anything else, you know. And so it's just cool that something was out there getting that many eyeballs on it and in it because it was VR, you know. And it was just a really cool project, and I was really happy how it came out and that it got that much attention.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, did you go to school for music at all, or are you trained?
No.
You self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. I went to UNLV, but it wasn't for music. It was just to hang out and be at school, so.
The college life, y'all gotta have it. It's necessary for growth at that age, right?
Exactly.
That's absolutely fantastic that you are self-taught and you got so far, because that's not something that is easy to know how to produce. A lot of people who are very seasoned, you hear them get into ruts where it takes them so long, but then that song ends up being a hit.
Sure.
So, have you ever had a time when you had to go somewhere and just cut everything off because you're I want to get this album done. I want to get this album done.
Every week. I'm right now, and I'm in the middle right now. As we're talking right now, tomorrow starts the pre-order for an album that I'm putting out, a novelty comedy album. And then next week, I've got a special Patreon exclusive album coming out. And I'm doing 3 live podcasts in a row at Maya Cinemas here in Las Vegas.
Wow.
The first one is on the film The Blackening on June 15th, so I'm excited about that. But so many projects all at once, and juggling them all is kind of a constant, I gotta get this done.
But it's better to be too busy than not busy at all, especially in the field that we're in, right?
Yeah.
So this album currently, the one that is the one up for pre-orders, pre-order. What's the inspiration behind this?
Well, first of all, the design on the shirt here is part of the album cover, although I'm also standing in front of it and the light is shining on me. But these are all films I actually worked on.
And some look like film, stills.
Yeah. These are all actually there's actually an animated version of this where they're all moving at the same time, and these are all films or short films or commercials, TV, whatever.
Okay.
And it's kind of a self-deprecating joke of a title, more content, because we're in this age right now of just nonstop onslaught of content. So I'm like, I'm adding to that with my new album and my new music video and my t-shirt and all this crap. But it's just, this album is, I think, my heaviest album. Like, the songs really hit really hard, and it was a really fun one to put together. A lot of the tracks were started kind of during the whole quarantine era of the pandemic and all that. And I'm putting out more music next year already. This one just came out on New Year's Day, but I'm going to be putting out a soundtrack later this year, and then more music, some of which was started at the same time as this album. So it's like, it's just a constant stream of like making things, and that's kind of
great,
what the album title came from.
That's actually amazing, though, for as a music producer.
Yeah, if it's coming, I'm not going to stop it.
Right,
you know?
As you should, because there's going to be one day where you're like, dang, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Now I know, I'm like, I have 2 days off, and that feels like an eternity, because you're like, yo, what is my life coming to?
Yeah.
Like, is this it? Is it the end? Right?
If that ever happens, at least I'll get to watch more movies, though. So,
so you can just review movies.
Yeah.
You can spend more time.
Yeah. There's always something I could do. Right?
But the music in you, I feel like, will just continue to flow out. So
Yeah.
even if you just do it for yourself, but that's pretty amazing. Is there a certain film on here that you're going to say is a standout? If you were to have a single, which you might, which would be the
Ooh, there's a lot on here. I don't
lead
even know.
single?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. There's just too many. I mean, this one right here, Dreams Like These, was a music video I made myself using just lots and lots of clips and all kinds of. This is actually for my second album, An Unseen Sky, and that's another one that I'm super proud of, just because I just gathered all this found footage and just kind of put it together and spliced it with effects, and like video editing is not my thing. That's why my podcast is audio only, but it really came together, and I'm just really proud of that one.
Yeah. That's awesome. So a lot of these movies, are they independent? A lot of these big features, are they here in the West Coast? Are they all over the world, maybe?
All over the world.
Great.
Some of these projects were screened in theaters or at festivals, and now they're available on Amazon or Prime or Netflix or Tubi or any of those kind of services.
Yeah.
And so a lot of stuff that's out there. I'm actually. The thing that I'm releasing next week is a soundtrack for a horror film called Jacqueline that just came out on Tubi this week. So that is going to be like an exclusive on my Patreon. And it's just a lot of stuff to put out.
Yeah, I'm sure you have your own fan base. I'm sure you have a Patreon. So.
They're out there. You know? If they're out there, subscribe to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to have it. So tell everyone where to find you, where to view your past and recent work, and also the current work that you're doing.
Yeah, bydavidrosen.com is my main website, where you can find basically links to everything I do. All the other albums, I have 7 full-length albums of instrumental music, and then 2 soundtrack releases. And then I've got this new comedy album I was talking about. It's called The Pup Pups, and it's songs about my dogs and cats.
Aww.
It's very ridiculous and very fun. The pre-order starts like next week, so
that's amazing.
I'm very excited about it. I've been working on it for years.
Yeah.
But it never felt right, but it's time to put it out. But
as time goes on and you live with them, new things will come up, right?
Yeah, you gotta eventually put these things out.
Right?
That's right.
What kind of? How many do you have? And
Well, over the years that I've been working on this project, not all of them are still with us. So that does happen when an album gets delayed. But there are, in total, over the history of the Pup Pups, there are 2 dogs and 5 cats.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Right now we have 1 dog and 3 cats. But they're different phases, different band members, you can say, of the group, But so the Pup Pups album you'll find out about on my website, bydavidrosen.com, and there's also links to my podcast, Piecing It Together. You can find anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
That's amazing. Are you open to people kind of submitting their independent film to you to ask to be a part of your podcast? Like,
sure.
Hey, review this for me.
Yeah, I don't always have time in the schedule to fully review independent films, but I'm always happy to have independent filmmakers on for my regular episodes, if they want to come on and help me cover whatever movie is out right now in the theaters. We will definitely make time to talk about their film as well.
I see. That's awesome. So you also have guests on your podcast.
Every episode I have a guest. Yeah.
Instead of you sitting there being like, so what I found during research. A lot of people do that. Hey,
I could talk.
A thing. That's absolutely amazing. So there is one more question that I always ask my guests, because it kind of sums up them as a whole. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
Is there a philosophy that I live by? I mean, yeah, it kind of goes back to a lot of what we've been talking about during this conversation, and that's to keep making stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's really it. And like I joke about like we're in this era of more content and like there's too much stuff, but not too much of your stuff. Like you should keep making stuff, you know, and that's the only way that you eventually get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
you know?
grow. Well, is there a goal that you're trying to reach at the end of all of this, or do you feel like you've hit that goal already?
I mean, in some ways I do, but I definitely have no plans of stopping anytime soon. I want to keep, you know, going towards that full discography of like a career's worth of music. I also want to score bigger films. I want to do a big monster movie at some point. That would be awesome. That definitely would fit my style. And with piecing it together, like I said, we've got these 3 live recordings at Maya Cinemas this summer, and I want that to continue to be a thing. I want to do more live shows in front of crowds, and so,
That's amazing. I don't know. So you play instruments as well, or no? You would just kind of, you do your mixing. You do your whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I play instruments, but no one wants to see me playing in front of a crowd.
You're the performer.
No,
he does it to the cats, to the pup-pups.
Yes, yes.
That's amazing. David Rosen, you are absolutely talented. I'm so glad to have a producer on here. I think that realm of music and being able to create it from nothing and just your own is just so inspiring. You know, there's a lot of music artists out there that do that, but there's a lot that don't. And those that do, they're kind of a genius in their own way. Like, I can't even imagine, like, out of nowhere, and then you have this amazing thing just there, right? The sound, you know, which is so important, that inspires so many people. Like, music really is something that I think stays and helps a person transcend who they are as people. And I'm sure you're inspiring many of our viewers here who are also artists. Even if they're performers, I'm sure that's something they might delve into. Even dancers might choreograph to one of your pieces. Your pieces are definitely, you know, being in dance prior and training in theater. I can hear yours being part of a dance concert.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, it's definitely, there's a lot to it. And movement, I think, adds to yours very well. So anyone out there who's looking to have a composer for their shows here in Vegas, we got tons. We're not short of them. Please contact David Rosen. Absolutely fantastic. Great energy. Just great artist all around. What you want right here. Humble, obviously. Like, you're sitting here, you're like, yeah, you send this. I have how many albums out? It's not a big deal, right? Like,
I just got goosebumps.
Well, great. Thank you so much, David, for coming and sitting on the hot seat. You're absolutely amazing. It's a pleasure to meet you. Everyone stay tuned, because we are not done in the realm of music here in Las Vegas, live in studio. See you after the break.
No.
Say anything.
What?
All this shit, it's an illusion. A fucking dream. Can't you see that, you worthless sack of shit?
Yeah, nut job. I see you perfectly.
I'm more than this flesh. I tell her, and now she tells me!
Hey, get out of here or I'm gonna call the cops.
This is my testament. This is what you should preach. Behind the veins. Behind the dream.
Boxing is a very lonely sport. They don't pay you to go to the gym. Blood, sweat, and tears inside this gym. I'm repeating it daily without no guarantee that I'm gonna be able to pick up a paycheck. As long as you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. I come from absolutely nothing. Every single fight, I know I'm a fight away from being homeless. I know I'm a fight away from my son having something to eat. So every time I'm sleeping and I feel like my opponent might be out there running, I get up and I run. Every single time I feel like I'm not doing enough, I do more. I have not won any titles, yet. I am not a champion, yet. I am a nobody, for now. And to my son, I am everything. I do all of this for him. I sacrifice everything for him.
What's going on? My mom passed away today. Oh my God, are you serious? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't get to say. Get to tell her how I really felt about her. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bro, it's gonna be alright. Listen, I'm gonna make sure that my brothers forever will be brothers.
Jimmy. Oh, God.